All right, all right, all right, all right. There we go. That ought to be about right. All right, people, people, people. Whew. You can tell I'm covered in sweat. Been outside since 8 o'clock this morning. It's around almost 1 now. And been doing a lot of maintenance on my old 92S10 recently. Last weekend, Wednesday before that, and now today. Hopefully I've got everything except for my latest oil change and filter change done to the old truck. Of course, I'll go out later and check the air in the tires. I think it needs new air. But yeah, today I've been having a squeak, and I noticed when I held my foot on the brake, the squeak would go away, so that's a sure sign you got a brake problem. Excuse me. So I went down today and went to the local auto parts store, and I had investigated. I used my motorcycle to go get parts. See it now, I'm looking. What the heck I've done with these, yeah. Can't kill yourself properly unless you have these. But yeah, I investigated first to see what the problems may be with the truck. Yeah, the brake pads, front brake pads are down to little. They got a little metal thing on there. It looks like a little paint scraper, and that's your tattletale. And when that starts squeaking, you know, it's time to put new brakes on here. Putting disc brakes on the front of a truck is easy though. It's usually just a couple of clips, a couple of bolts. Push the cylinder back in all the way so that the brakes will go back down onto the disc properly, easy. So it makes it a lot easier to bolt up. One more time, excuse me. Anyway, so I wanted to investigate the truck and make sure that before I went to the parts store, I got the appropriate parts. Didn't waste a bunch of money on things I didn't need, but make sure I get all that I do need. So I took the driver's side wheel off, took the brakes off. Yes, they were wore out. Absolutely had to have some. So, because it's a really old truck, I followed my grandpa and my uncle and my dad's example. Instead of just replacing the pads and being done with it, going down the road, no. Not good enough. If you're going to go to the trouble of changing those brakes out, having to jack the truck up, grab a whole bunch of tools, check your bearings and your seals every time. So what I discovered is sometime in the past, somebody had put some bearings inside this spindle. And the spindle is a little rod that is on the steering arm part. And it's a little bolt, basically, that sticks out, a shaft. And your hub goes on there, and that's your disc that your brakes squeeze to stop you. So it does your stopping, your steering, everything like that. So there's a couple of bearings in there inside the drum that sits on that long bolt. And yeah, somebody had put bearings in there that the outer race of the bearings was plastic, and I said, what in God's name, where did they get that junk? So I went ahead and checked out the rear bearing and the seal, and you got to destroy the seal to get it out. So I knew I was going to buy new seals for both sides. I was wondering about bearings. So I took the driver's side off, checked out the bearings, checked out the brake shoes. I determined I needed new brake shoes and a new seal, of course, and a new bearing to get rid of those plastic ones. I said, golly, how did those not melt in the heat of than the pressure inside that wheel. I got rid of them. I bought some brand new bearings, new seal, and when you're putting your bearings in there, grease has got to go where the rollers are. And the only way to get grease up in there is to put a big old blob of grease right here in the palm of your hand and take that bearing and push down into that grease and force it up past the rollers until it comes out the top end. So I repacked the bearings. That's what putting grease in them is packing. Made sure all the surfaces were smooth and not pitted or scratched or what have you on the spindle, that bolt I was telling you about. So everything looked good and smooth. I cleaned it all up, repacked the bearings, put the new seal back in the back of the drum where the brakes go. Put it back on there and put it on there loosely. Not real loose, but just a tiny little bit of wobble, a little play, if you will. Then I put the pads, and assembled the brake assembly back onto that drum. Made sure everything was good and tight. I put some anti-seize on the lug nuts, the lug bolts, the bolts that hold the brake on. Everything was fine. Looked at it. And then you take the wheel and you put the wheel back on there. And you tighten that bad boy up. Because that extra weight of that wheel is going to give you a lot more wobble in those bearings, a lot more play. You don't want a lot. You want a tiny, tiny bit of play. I mean, we're talking less than a millimeter. You just want a slight bunch of play, just barely. So how you do it is there's a nut on the end of that holds that drum on there. So you tighten that nut up, and you keep testing the wheel toward the truck, away from the truck. And you keep tightening it up until you just barely can get any play whatsoever. And that nut that you're tightening it up with has little slots cut out in it. And a Carter pin goes through the bolts. You bend up the ends. You put the grease cap back on there with a little grease in it. And just tap it together and you're done with one side. So I did two sides. I got good brakes now, no squeaking. The truck feels really good and smooth now. So I'm proud of it. So I decided before I take a shower and get all this grease and nasty off of me with my sweat, I thought I'd tell you all about it and do a little celebration. It's good to have a day off. I do enjoy working on my stuff and keeping everything maintained. I know myself when I work on it myself, I know what's been done. I write it all down in a book. Every date, every time, what I did, how I did it, everything. So I know exactly how everything's set up in the house, on my vehicles. I do all the maintenance on my truck, my motorcycle, the house, everything. And that's my hobby, staying busy. Making sure everything's correct and proper. And I enjoy that. It gives me the feeling of accomplishment. And when you can get up in the morning and you feel like you've accomplished something during the day, there's no better feeling. No better feeling. But anyway, I'm getting all my stuff sold and given away. I just got through paying off all my credit cards. Every single one of them but one. And I told them 6 months ago, lock this card down. I don't want any charges. And what do they do? For some reason, they got some vendor that thinks I'm on auto pay for something I never even ordered. So I told them, you can cut this card off to where you don't charge me no more. I'm not gonna pay you. So now they want to charge it off. Well, if you'll listen to your damn customers instead of just keeping charging them just because you think you can get away with it, well, then you wouldn't have to worry. So when I leave the States, flying over to where my wife is, her kids, not only will I have about $2,500 a month in Social Security because I've worked an extra dang near 5 years beyond the original retirement day. I'll have $2,500 a month. I'll have $10,000 in the bank and $10,000 in 401k. Man, if I can't make it on that, I'm doing something stupid. Anyway, she's developed a heart problem, so I said now's the time. It's time for all this foolish work to go away and go spend some time with people while I still have them. I'm gonna miss my kids here, but they're half Filipino, and I'm quite sure at some point they'll go there and they'll more than welcome to come stay at the house, as long as they treat everyone with respect. That's all I ask in my house, be respectful. Don't believe that you deserve anything you see and you get to get it from me. Get a job. I just want to tell y'all what I was up to. I hadn't talked to y'all in quite a while. Until next time, guys and girls, y'all enjoy life. Bye bye.